everyone, I'm going to be doing a math lesson on lesson 8.5 in your math books, and it's going to be on pages 222 and 223. And what today's math lesson looks like, it is going to be dealing with long division, but with two-digit numbers that we haven't dealt with yet. So far, we've divided by 10, 11, and 12, as far as two digits go, 10, 11, 12. We've divided by multiples of 10 and even 100. But we're going to be dividing by numbers that are much bigger than 12 and that are not on your multiplication chart. So up until now, when we've divided by 10 or 11 and 12, we could look at our chart and it could help us to figure out how many times 12 goes into a number. But these numbers that we're going to deal with, like the number 52 or 27, on multiplication charts don't go that big. So what it really comes down to is a little bit of trial and error. Trying something, if that doesn't work, adjusting, trying the new thing. And if that doesn't work, trying something in the middle. Now, your homework today is going to be a worksheet, and the worksheet is actually going to have you fill out a multiplication chart for 3 different numbers, and so you'll use that to help you. But when it comes down to doing problems that are not on that worksheet, I want to be able to give you a method to use so that you can do these problems. So we're going to start on page 222, and the word problem that it starts out with is that there are 32 swimmers and 68 towels. And the question is, how many towels can each swimmer use? So we're going to start that as a division problem of 68 divided by 32. So again, right here, we don't have 32 on our multiplication chart. And so one of the ways that it can help us figure out, well, what number do I put on here? Where do I start? Am I going to put a 7? Am I just going to kind of pull a number, out of the blue and write it down and then try it? Well, we could do that. But what we want to do instead is try to make more of an educated guess. Rather than just randomly guessing a number and then doing the multiplication and finding out it doesn't work, why don't we start with a number that we feel like is reasonable, okay? And the way we do that is that we're going to take 32, we're going to round it down to 30, because 32 is in the 30s. And 68, we're not rounding it because it would technically round to 70, but 68 is in the 60s. And so we're going to think of that as like a 60s number, okay? And so when I can look at 30 goes into 60, well, those numbers come to mind, they're a lot quicker because they're related to each other. We know 3 goes into 6 twice, so 30 goes into 60 twice. And so 30, we could use a 2 to help us. So I'm going to start with my 2. That's my educated guess. That's the educated part of it, where I'm not just randomly putting a number at the top, but I'm going to start with 2 because 30 goes into 60. Well, that's kind of like 32 and 68. Again, it won't always work, but and we're going to try it out and see if it does. So 32 goes into 68 about 2 times. Well, now comes our multiplication of 32 times 2, and this is where you're going to need your scratch paper on the side to figure out, well, what is 32 times 2, and it's 64. We're going to subtract, and we get a remainder of 4. 64, that's pretty close, right? That's pretty close to 68. It's not over it, and it's not quite, but it's probably the closest we're going to get, okay? And so my answer is 2 remainder 4, but to answer the problem in the book, with it's a word problem, sometimes they ask us a different question. The question is, how many towels can each swimmer use? The answer would be 2 towels they can each use, right? There are 4 extra towels, okay? All right, let's do another one. I'm going to take 27 divided by 95. Again, 27's nowhere on my multiplication chart, so it's not like I can look at my 27's, go across, get as close to 95 as possible, and then go from there. So I want to try it again. I want to try to round this the best I can. And so 27 is in the 20s. It's also pretty close to 30. So I'm going to think of 27 as 30. the 95, yes, technically it does go into 100, but I'm going to try to keep it kind of low, and I'm going to start with 90s. Look right there, the 3 and the 9, compatible numbers, related numbers. So that gives me an idea. Well, 30 goes into 90, 3 times. Let's try 3. Let's see if 3 works. We may have to adjust, we may have to go higher or lower. So, I'm going to write my 3, and let's do our multiplication. 27 times 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 81, that's pretty close. There is a little bit of gap between 81 and 95, but can I add another 27 and bump this up to 4? Well, let's see. Oh, no, 108. So 4 times would definitely not work. So 3 was a really good place to start. So 27 times 3, I just did it, it's 81. We're going to subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4, 9 minus 8 is 1. Remainder is smaller than our outside number, our divisor, and so that's actually a really good guess that that's our final answer. Nothing else to bring down. 14, it's a little bigger than what we've seen as far as remainders go so far, but it's actually right. You're going to have your remainders be a little bit bigger in these next couple of lessons. So 3 remainder 14 is our answer. Okay. All right. So guys, this is going to be your key to figuring these out. Now, again, your homework is going to make it a little easy for you. Basically, what they did is you're first going to have a multiplication chart to fill in. And then you're going to use a multiplication chart to help you, so you're not going to have to do as much computation. But you're going to use something that looks like this to help you. So you're going to have one of these for each of the 3 different divisors on your worksheet. And if you're looking at your worksheet right now, you'll know exactly what I mean. And so you'll be doing, this is going to help you a lot on today's lesson, okay? If you have any questions on today's lesson or tomorrow's lesson, make sure you bring it with you to Zoom tomorrow at 1 o'clock or 5:30, and I'll be happy to help you guys out with it, okay? All right, I'll see you guys soon.